Okay, now there's certain words you need to be aware of that are used in martial law, and there's more words than these, but these are some of them. Resident, okay? Sovereigns inhabit. Your home is an abode. You're on the land. You don't reside. You're not a resident. You don't have a residence. Okay? That's all martial law. Traffic. That's a martial law word. Commissioner. That's a martial law word. Drive. Okay? You already saw that. They're looking for drivers. A human. Okay? Again, I'm a sovereign living soul. I'm not a person. I'm not a human. I'm not anything that they're interested in. This is a court case, U.S. District Court. The privilege against self-incrimination is neither recorded to the passive resistant, nor the person who is ignorant of his rights, nor the one indifferent thereto. It is a fighting clause. Its benefits can be retained only by sustained combat. It cannot be retained by attorney or solicitor. It is valid only when insisted upon by a belligerent claimant in person. The one who is persuaded by honeyed words or moral suasion to testify or produce documents rather than make a last-ditch stand simply loses the protection. Once he testifies to part, he has waived his right and must on cross-examination or otherwise testifies to the whole transaction. He must refuse to answer or produce and test the matter in contempt proceedings or by habeas corpus. Okay? So do you know who you are? Got to be a belligerent claimant. You got to get up in their face and see who blinks. And I guarantee you, they will blink first if you do it right. Nobody said it would be easy, but it is possible. Do you know who you are? What's the alternative? The next presentations are paid presentations, but I go through, there's 3 of them, 4 of them. There's one called Asserting Your Sovereignty, and in there I go through the procedure and how to assert your sovereignty. There's one called Land Titles, and I go through how to get absolute title to your land. And there's one called The Ultimate Solution, Does Your Government? And the idea is that that you're not going to get any justice in those courts. They say it themselves. They have to have the appearance of justice. And you remember those color of law definitions, okay? The appearance of justice is the color of justice. So it's not real justice. It's whatever they feel like doing. And we'll go through some court cases that talk about that. And so then in the one talking about the ultimate solution, does your government, it's how we the people can set up our own common law juries and our common law grand juries, and we can bring them indictments against them, and we can put them on trial, and we can convict them, and if we do it properly, their courts will recognize it. But again, do you know who you are? We have to assert ourselves, okay? And we are asleep at the wheel. And so if we don't assert ourselves, then we'll keep getting exactly what we're getting. You know, I don't know how many of you know about the Nazi war crimes after the Second World War. You probably know all about that stuff, but there's a lot of stuff about it that you may not know. And one of the things you may not know is that Goering was one of the leaders, and they asked him, they said, under what authority did you do all this stuff? And you know what his answer was? He said, nobody complained. Okay? So complain. If you don't complain, nothing's going to change, and you have to bring up the right issues. If you go in there like you're a U.S. citizen, then you're a slave, and they don't care what you say. If you go in there as if you're the king, well, then they do care, and I guarantee you things will change. It may not help you, but it'll help the next guy. And so if you don't say something, then you're at least partially responsible when the next guy gets his rights violated. Do you know who you are? And so we will be talking about de jure government, and then we'll be talking about practical considerations. You know, things like how to set up bank accounts without social security numbers, how to do things, how to operate in their system in such a way that you stay out of their so-called contracts, and that you can still survive, you can get by, you can even prosper and do well. But you know, because you don't have to be destitute and poverty-stricken to be a sovereign. There's lots of them that are very wealthy. Do you know who you are? And so that's what we'll be talking. And this is basically a primer for for the other parts of the presentation that is available if you want to pay for it. It's not very expensive, but it's not free either. And so if you want that information, then you need to go to the addresses that are at the beginning of the presentation, and you'll be able to find the information you need. And we can help you with that. Thank you very much. I am me, but you can call me Glenn. And actually, my name is Glenn Winningham. I am the king. And you may wonder about that, but that's what the courts have said. We're all kings and queens. And I recently had the Texas Department of Public Safety actually tell me that I am listed in their system as sovereign. They actually told me 3 times in one visit, and I was sitting there thinking, okay, you already told me this twice. Okay, so anyways, so do you know who you are? And that's what these presentations are all about, is do you know who you are? Help you to understand who you are. We're all kings and queens, and there's nothing that I have done that you can't do yourself. And I'll be happy to show you. For free, you can go on my, join my groups and browse around my stuff and figure it out for yourself. If you want, you can get my PowerPoint presentations, and those are a fee. You can go through and it will explain it to you in detail, what needs to be done and how to do it. The choice is yours, and do you know who you are? I know who I am.